Hey guys, thanks for tuning in today. My name is Brady with AvidMax, and we're going to show you how to tie the Psycho Prince Nymph. It's a great attractor pattern in pretty much all trout fisheries that you'll visit. And it's a pattern that you can kind of toy around with and make your own, do some variations to it, and it's going to fish really well in a lot of different situations. So there's a few different materials we're going to use to tie this. Starting out, we have a Tiemco size, I'm using a size 14. This is a 52-62 Tiemco hook. It's a nymph hook, it's a 2X long, so it gives a nice body, good proportions. We're going to tie on there, we're going to put a countersunk tungsten bead, and that's the 7/64 size for this pattern, for the size 14 that I got going. From there, we're going to use a little bit of this copper brassy size wire for our ribbing. We're going to do some pheasant tail. This is just the natural pheasant tail. For our backing material, you could do brown or black as well for that. And then we're going to do it a little bit different today with some fun colors. This is the Ice Dub UV Shrimp Pink color, which is a great orange for our body. And then we also have the Ice Dub Olive Brown for the front end of our fly. And another thing that I like to do a little bit differently than the traditional pattern, I use the flat diamond braid for the wing buds on this fly, and it gives it just a cool look. It's kind of easy to manage, works real well. And the final material we have here is the stripped Goose Buyouts, and I'm going to be using the brown and the white. This is a nice sample pack you can get, tie a whole bunch of different patterns with that. All right, so we're going to start using our Vivus 10-aught brown as mentioned, and we're just going to start our thread here on the hook shank and get ready to tie in our tail. So for the tails, that's brown Goose Buyouts. And what we're going to do with these, we're going to take them and face the concaves outwards so that they splay away from each other. And then it'll give it a nice look once we have them tied down. So we're going to measure them out 2/3 the shaft of the hook, place them on either side, and then hold them on there and tie them in. And then we'll work our thread back, and as we're doing this, we can kind of keep those buyouts where we want them. The one that's closest to me is going to want to go upwards as I'm tying, and then the one that's closer to the camera, to you guys, wants to go downward a little bit as I'm tying this on here. So we'll just work our way back right to where that hook bend kind of begins and set our tails in place. From there, we're going to take our wire, that copper brassy wire. Brassy is good for the size 14. If you go smaller, which this pattern you can tie in a lot of different sizes, you might want to adjust your materials a little bit for that appropriate sizing. So we'll go back up, tie our materials in here along with the wire, get everything kind of cleaned up and down. And then we'll stop right about there in the middle of the shank and get our pheasant tail ready to go on. So this will become our backing material. And since I'm using the natural pheasant tail here, I try and keep the darker side of it facing downward. And then what that does when we tie it off, it's going to actually face up at the end, and it'll give it just a nice dark backing casing to it. So we'll tie that pheasant tail in, kind of hold it up right on top of the hook shank as we work backwards. Make sure our tail doesn't move around too much on us. And once we're all the way back, then we're ready to start our dubbing. And the dubbing, again, is a little unique for how this pattern is usually tied, but this is the Ice Dub UV Shrimp Pink. And we'll tie on just a sparse amount to start and work on tapering our body forwards. So I use just my saliva to kind of keep that dubbing noodle tight. There's lots of great waxes and things you can use out there as well, but for me this is pretty sufficient. So work on tying this forward, getting our body going here, nice taper on it. Make sure that dubbing noodle stays tight as we wrap forward. Not too buggy on this pattern, kind of a, not too buggy, not too thin at the same time. And it kind of depends on what you're going for imitation wise. Again, it's a tractor pattern. For me in this size, I like to fish it late August, early September when there's a lot of yellow sallies or golden stoneflies around. So it'll get you some attention and snag some of those fish. So we're gonna go up, we're gonna leave a little bit of space towards the front to give us a little bit of room to finish off our fly. So probably about 2/3 of the way up we'll tie in. I'm just gonna add a little bit more here. Once we have that all tied in there and we're happy with our body, we'll bring our backing material forward. So we're gonna pull this pheasant tail up, make sure you get all that material and lay it flat on top. As you're doing this, I like to try and get them to lay flat, not stacking over or crisscrossing or anything like that. Just a nice, consistent backing on it. So we'll tie this down, couple behind, couple in front. We can trim out our excess there. So once we make sure that that is secure, then we can start to bring our wire around. We're just going to counter wrap this around. Starting in the back and coming forward here. So you want firm wraps, but don't go too tight because you'll get nice indentations on your pheasant tail. You can potentially cut into it. So just a few times around and give it a couple of wraps on the front just to add a little bit of weight to it. And again, we'll tie it down secure and then helicopter it off of there. So from this point, we can work our thread back a little bit. And then we're going to tie in that wing bud. So this is that flat diamond braid here. This is a root beer color. Kind of goes well with the other accents and things that I have going on with this fly. So we'll tie it down here and pull it back just out of the way. Okay. So the next step is just a little bit more of that same dubbing, that shrimp pink dubbing. Just a quick little small dubbing noodle. Blends the fly together. And also gives you a prop for the next step for when we do our legs. So we're going to go around here, just give that a nice collar. And then still leave ourselves a little bit of room to work with there. Next material we have are the white goose buyouts. And you can use turkey buyouts as well for this if you'd like. We're going to tie these in on either side of the pattern. So typically if you're doing a standard Prince Nymph, they go right on top. But with the Psycho Prince, they go on the side. And you're going to measure just a little bit shorter than the length of your body. Tie those down snug. Do the same on the other side here. You want the concave on these to actually face towards the inside of the fly, contrary to how we did the tail. And then we'll cut out our tight ends here. Clean that up a little bit, get ready for our final dubbing step here. And the dubbing will cover up some of this excess material as well. So as we work backwards, that last dubbing noodle we put on is going to get those legs to splay out real nicely. And we'll finish off with that last material. This is that ice dub olive brown. It's a great natural color. It's got a lot of different accents in it. Some purples, which the traditional pattern, you typically do this with a nice purple. But then we also throw in some olives and there's a little bit of orange accents to kind of blend this fly all together. We'll do just another tight dubbing noodle. And work this around here. Back again towards the front of our fry, giving a nice color. Also kind of builds up those proportions. Just giving you a nice tapered body there. So once we've got that tied in, we can clip off our wing buds right about halfway down the length of the body without chopping off our legs there. And then we can do a quick whip finish on this guy. And we'll finish it off with a little bit of Zap-A-Gap just on the bottom here. So that's all there is to the Psycho Prince Nymph. It's a great fly pattern all across the state of Colorado here. You can tie it in purples, blacks, olives, the orange and yellows kind of in the bigger sizes here like I got going on. But it's going to be very effective for you in a variety of different waters. So there's your Psycho Prince Nymph. For more fly fishing and outdoor related videos, subscribe to our AvidMax YouTube channel. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you out there.